Hey everybody, good morning. I am so glad you're here. It's Thursday, and so we've got today and one more day in the week. Um, and it's a beautiful spring April day. Ta-da! See how pretty that is? I'm so lucky that I get to hang out and watch this. I need to make more time to do it. But I love being able to do my live streams in front of the view so I can kind of watch it at the same time. Anyways, today's topic is piggybacking on yesterday's topic. Yesterday's topic was about having an anxious stomach and things to do with that. And today's topic is about that as well, but a whole different tool to work with it, a whole different way of working with anxiety and working with a nervous stomach. And it also works for any sort of pain, whether it be your knee, your back, your shoulder, your head. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert and shiatsu massage therapist in Northern Illinois. And I've been doing this for, about a little over 10 years now. And I got into it because I really needed to find out how to stay grounded and calm and sane in such a crazy world that we live in. So, hence, I started my practice and I haven't looked back since. So, okay. Hey, Susan, good to see you. So, when we have something that hurts or is knotted up or is anxious or uncomfortable, what we like to do is ignore it because it's way too uncomfortable to deal with. It's way too uncomfortable to even think about how bad our stomach is knotted up and tensed up. And that's really very natural and normal. So there's no judgment there. That's something that everybody does. When something hurts, we don't want to feel it. When it's, past a certain line, we don't want to feel it. And we do anything we can to distract ourselves from it. So it's always a great idea, yeah, I should go to the doctor. Yeah, I should, get this looked at. Yeah, I should talk to somebody. But we don't because it's very uncomfortable. Now, if we take away all of the judgmentalism against that, if we stop saying, well, you just need to do it, what's your problem? If we stop beating ourselves up for that, you'll realize that there is another tool to deal with, today. Hey, Sherry, there's another tool to deal with, let's say, the discomfort, when your stomach's all knotted up. But not just that, any pain, any issue that you have. Hey, Yulia, nice to see you. There's a sideways trick that we talk about in bodywork, which, it seems logical and it seems practical, but it's not something that we ever think of. You need to work into an area, work into where you feel uncomfortable slowly. You have to do it at your own pace. And one of the ways you can do it at your own pace is to work on something that's nearby, to work on something or pay attention to something that's close but isn't the real issue. So like yesterday, I was working with a woman whose back had gone out. And you don't work directly on the back, just like you don't always work directly on somebody's stomach when it's knotted up and anxious and tied up. You don't, work directly on it because that's just way too much. That's over the top. And we're going to procrastinate and we're going to not deal with it. We're going to say, yeah, we should. And then feel guilty and angry that, that we haven't dealt with the anxiety that we feel. But in reality, you can work on it from a distance and work your way up to it. That's the way to get around the body-mind. That's the way to get around your natural inclination when you feel stressed to run, or to freeze. That's the way to get around your stomach being all tense and knotted, is to work on it from a different location and move closer to it. So let's say this morning, for example, my stomach was all knotted up. And it was because I had some coffee yesterday, and usually I avoid coffee. And so it made me a little dehydrated, and so in most mornings I'm sensitive. So instead of doing what I said yesterday, which is, put your hand on your stomach and give your focus and attention there and ask it, tell it to release its heat and tension. Sometimes that's too much. And so today I started above my stomach. I started on my diaphragm. And so I put my hand on my diaphragm and I said, okay, release the heat and the tension on my diaphragm. And I held that for 10, 15 minutes, and that relaxed it. And by relaxing my diaphragm, it actually relaxed my stomach at the same time. When we feel something in our body, whether it's a knot in our stomach or a pain in our knee or a pain in our back, like the woman I was working on yesterday, or a pain in your back, the source of the problem isn't usually where you feel the pain. That's just the end of the line. That's the most uncomfortable place that you're noticing it. That's the weakest spot, and so that's what's flared up the most. Hey, Amy. But that's not necessarily where you need to put your focus. And it sounds weird, but you'll hear it from good healers all the time. Yes, you give some attention to the thing that hurts, but then you look at the things which are causing the hurt or contributing to the hurt, and you can work on that. So when you've got a nervous and anxious stomach that's all tightened up and you want it to relax, but instead you want to focus on something else because you just feel too anxious and too upset and you just, wish it would all relax and, I'm going to ignore it and hopefully it'll take care of itself, which it won't. But instead, if you focus on something that's nearby, it could even be, your leg. It could be your heart. It could be, the sides of your stomach where it's not uncomfortable. Put your focus there. Ask it to release the heat and the tension, and your body will, because your body will follow what you tell it to do. Ask it to do that, and everything that's connected to that will start to relax and unknot and feel better. It's not always smart to work directly on the issue that you think you have or directly on any discomfort or pain that you're dealing with. It's not always the smartest way to go because sometimes there's that line. You know what I mean? There's that line where when it's over the line, you just want to ignore it and you just want it fixed. But if it's on the other side of the line, let's say the left side of the line, then, you can address it. It's a minor problem that you can deal with easily and it doesn't bother you. But most of us wait until the discomfort is big enough that we just want it taken care of. We don't care how. We don't care what you do. We want to ignore it and go our merry way. So the sideways trick is to work on something else that's nearby. Work on something else that might be connected to it without working directly on the problem. And when you work on something connected to it, it will ease everything and dial the discomfort down enough that now you can do something different. Now you can take care of the issue directly. So in anything, and I was talking to my psychologist about this yesterday, everything has to be done at its own pace, in its own time. And if something is too uncomfortable, let's say your stomach, or your shoulders or your head or your neck, it's way too uncomfortable to touch. It's way too uncomfortable to manipulate or work with. Instead, you work on something associated or related that's nearby. And if it's your stomach, then your diaphragm or your chest is a perfect opportunity. Pick the thing that's a little bit uncomfortable, not a lot uncomfortable. Because if it's a lot uncomfortable, it's too big, we won't want to do it, we'll find something else to do. But if we work on the thing that's just a little bit uncomfortable, believe it or not, it'll take enough stress off of the very uncomfortable spot, let's say your knotted stomach. It'll take the stress off of that and make it feel good enough that now you can address it directly. So that's the great sideways tool that body workers and healers, good ones, know, is that you don't always work right on the problem. You work around the problem, and that takes enough stress off until you can work directly on the problem. If it's your knotted stomach, if it's anxiety, if it's stress, deal with, let's say, drinking water. And that'll dial down the stress enough that you'll be able to have the hard conversation that you need to have. Do you see what I mean? Deal with the sideways things and the whole will be affected. So your homework assignment today is whenever you feel something uncomfortable, I want you to look for something that is related to it, nearby, close by. And if you work on that, then pay attention and notice if the real issue starts to feel better or not. You don't have to be, a bull in a china shop. You don't always have to face things head on. You don't have to be, a superhero. You can deal with things in a slower pace, deal with the edges, and work your way in. Okay? So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Tomorrow's Friday, so the last day of the week, so I'll see you then. And please share, love, like, because that keeps our tribe going. And here's something extra I'd like to add. If you watch this, comment, share parts about you, and then also comment on other people's stuff, because this is a group, we're coming together. Comment on other people's stuff, and remember, the focus is kind, nice, supportive, loving, not judgmental, not mean, not dismissive, not minimizing, but supportive and nurturing. Okay, that's what this space is for. So I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye.